Maybe we better take off.
Yeah, right.
I can't make it. You sure? Yes, I'm sure. Good. I'm sick of running from these whips.
I'll shove that bat up your ass and turn you into a popsicle. Come on. Fucking A.
Hey!
Come on, cowboy.
Shit, I figured they were wimps.
Hey there, YouTubers and collectors. This is Salvador Los Angeles with my review of 2005's The Warriors action figures made by Mezco. And this is in celebration of the 2019 40th anniversary of the iconic film. First up is Swan, played by actor Michael Beck. Originally from Memphis, Tennessee, Michael Beck was 30 years old when he played the character. He went to college on a football scholarship and graduated with a degree in economics. This is the first figure that I collected in the series. I found him loose, stumbled upon him at a collector's store. He does not have any accessories. I believe he comes with a knife and a pipe. I collected this figure first and fell in love. The face is fantastic. This is the bloodied version or the battle damaged version. There are clean versions and there are dirtied versions, and I accidentally collected all of the battle damaged versions. He has such great hair. He has sort of frozen shoulders. None of these figures have movement at their shoulders. I mean, they do have movement, but they are stuck frozen. They've been in the box since 2005, most of them, or at least that old in general. This guy, who knows how long he's been out of the box, but his shoulders were kind of frozen, but he does have lots of articulation in other places. His right hand there, he can hold a knife, and on the left hand, I believe he holds a big pipe. He could also maybe hold a can of beer. Bottom of his shoes have treads, which I always love, and his shoes or boots look really cool, nice brown coloring to them, lots of detail. Pants are black, have movement at the hip, both sides left and right the same, and he does have some nice abdominal articulation. He has a waist rotation, and then he also has some upper abdominal movement right below the rib cage. This may be the first time in history that an actor is actually more ripped than the action figure. Coming up on Furies, also called Baseball Furies. Beautiful packaging, collector-friendly packaging. I would probably recommend you just leave them in the packaging. Don't take these figures out. They're very valuable. Back of the packaging says these are the armies of the night, and as you'll notice, the Baseball Fury right there is not the one that we're going to be seeing today. This is a variant. There are 4 different versions. Actually, if you count the dirtied and non-dirtied, it is actually 8 variants of the Baseball Furies. Back of the read-up says, a battle of gigantic proportions is looming in the neon underground of New York City. The armies of the night number 100,000. They outnumber the police 5-1, and tonight they're after the Warriors, a street gang blamed unfairly for a rival rival gang leader's death. Members of the Warriors fight for their lives, seek to survive in the urban jungle, and learn the meaning of loyalty. The backdrop of every packaging has a subway, and then it also has wheels. And very cool, I just discovered this accidentally, if you cut along the top front of every package, it has a plasticized Warriors logo. Very cool. Baseball Fury comes with a baseball bat. And no, this is not a joint, unfortunately. This is half of a baseball bat. This is BJ. I understand that they have names, so this is Fury BJ is his name, played by actor Bill Anagos. I don't have any other information. He was originally a stuntman. He went on to such films as Bourne Ultimatum. I believe that all of the baseball Furies were officially stuntmen. Beautiful figure. He is in the Yankee attire. I wonder if the Yankees ever sued the Warriors. That would be interesting. Now, unlike the other characters, he does have movable shoulders. His body sculpt, his joints are a little bit different, so he does have movable shoulders, and I took a chance. But I would caution you, please be careful, particularly with figures this old. Be careful when you're moving them around. He has lots of articulation. He doesn't have an elbow joint, but he does have a rotation right below the elbow, and then a rotation right above the elbow on both sides. Left hand looks like he could hold a baseball. Right arm is the same, rotation above the elbow, rotation below the elbow. He has lots of dirt all over his uniform. Again, this is the dirtied version. Looks like he was sliding into home plate. No articulation at his feet or ankles, surprisingly, but he does have soles at his feet. And the back does say Furies. Well, I see Swan's taking care of that already. Next up is Ajax. Now, this is the only character to have stickers. Ajax comes with stickers, so he might have been a convention exclusive somewhere, I'm thinking. But he does have a lot of cool stickers. Ajax is played by actor James Remar, who is probably the most prolific actor with 167 credits on IMDb, the most prolific actor of the cast. He was 26 years old at the time of the film, originally from Boston, Massachusetts. Now, I know him also as Harry Morgan. That was Dexter's father on the show of the same name, Dexter. But some of you may know him as Richard Wright from Sex and the City. Now, here I wanted to make sure that he has all the abdominal articulation that Swan does, and yes, he does. Very cool belt buckle as well. And these gloves, if you're a fight fan like me, I've been watching fights, I've been watching UFC since forever. These are kind of like MMA or grappling gloves, so that's very cool. Ajax was ahead of his time. He has articulation at the hips. He does have some traction at the bottom of his feet, and he does have very cool boots, brown boots. And watch these shoulder joints, I'm telling you. One thing I do like about the shoulders, though, is that they look realistic. If you look at the shoulders at a lot of comic book figures especially, or wrestling figures, the shoulders are kind of ridiculous. But these shoulders look really great. Jeez, guys, can you keep it down? I'm trying to do a review here. Jeez. Next up is Cleon. Cleon comes with a can of spray paint. He comes with a real metal chain, which is totally cool, and also a pair of realistic-looking nunchucks, also with a real metal chain. These things look like you could hang them as jewelry. They're so well done. And Cleon is played by actor Dorsey Wright. He was 22 years old at the time of the filming, originally from the Bronx, New York. Right around the same time in 1979, he was in the movie musical Hair, so he's probably a song and dance man. One thing I always love about Cleon was his do-rag. Would you call that a do-rag? I guess I'd call it a do-rag. I always love that do-rag. You never see him without it. Unfortunately, Cleon gets killed off. Well, I don't know if he gets killed off, but the Gramercy Riffs do take care of him right away. So within the first 20% of the movie, he is gone, and that is unfortunate because he is actually one of my favorite characters, and I do love his jewelry. I like his beads around his neck, and I like his do-rag and very cool belt buckle and reddish pants, reddish orangish pants. His left hip is locked in place. I don't know what the hell happened over the years. He is not moving. Interesting articulation. He has a little bit of a rotation right above the knee, which is very interesting. And he does have movement at the feet. And his shoes do have treads. Very cool treads at the bottom. These guys will not stop. Jeez! Next up is Cochise. Cochise comes with a can of spray paint, just like Cleon. He comes with a stick with nails in it, ready to kick some ass. He also comes with a Molotov cocktail that fits nicely around his shoulder. Cochise is played by actor David Harris, who was 20 years old at the time, originally from New York City, New York. Interesting bit of trivia about David Harris. He is currently in production on Star Trek Equinox, The Night of Time, where he plays the character called Captain Cochise Harrison. Very cool. One thing I love about Cochise, I love the tribal look, I love the native look. He's very colorful, he's got the feathers in his hair, he's got the armbands, he's got the beads around his neck. I always loved Cochise's appearance. To me, he was always the best dressed of all the warriors. And we're going to get down to his boots too. He's got some fantastic boots. Articulation, very cool. He's got all the same articulation as the other guys on the upper abdominals, waist rotation. Very cool belt buckle. I like the red pants too. I'd forgotten that he wore red pants. I really like them a lot. And this is the piece de resistance, are the boots. These boots are fantastic. I'm loving these moccasin style boots. They are flat. There's no tread on the bottom. No peg holes also in any of these figures either. But I'm loving his overall look. Cochise is one of my favorite in the movie and also in figure form. And of course, loving these vests, loving these Warriors vests. These look so fantastic. Don't mess with these shoulders. I don't know why I'm doing that. I don't know why I was doing that. Be careful of these joints, people. These are old figures. You can put the stick in his left hand, and I put the Molotov cocktail over his left shoulder. I might want to change that when I display him. And I'm loving these. The head movement of these figures is just so fantastic. It's very satisfying. Jeez, Cochise, take it easy, buddy. And closing out the show today is Luther. He comes with a broken bottle, ready to shank somebody. And he comes with his 3 iconic bottles that he puts on his fingertips. Warriors, come out to play! And this is the gun. This is the Smith & Wesson Model 28 revolver that he uses to shoot Cyrus. Talk about movie iconography. And Luther is played by actor David Patrick Kelly, who was 28 years old at the time, originally from Detroit, Michigan. The Warriors was his first credited role. According to IMDb, has 66 movie credits. I remember him also from Dreamscape from 1984. I screwed up on the bottles. I think one of the bottles is supposed to go on his thumb. He's got that awesome head movement that the rest of the figures have, and I'm really loving his hair and his headband, and he's got a real wild look to him, which I really appreciated. His character is wild, and his figure is just as wild and insane looking. So it's a pleasure to have this figure. He has lots of great movement. The bottles fit on his fingers nicely. The gun fits in his left hand quite nicely. He's a little tight on his rotation on his hips. He's a little tight on his waist rotation. So a little snug on, so be careful on those joints. And as far as his legs, he has no articulation at his legs, but he does have ankle articulation at his cool brown boots. Now, something interesting I noticed, they made slices horizontally on his upper calf. It looks like they were going to do something. Maybe they were going to make a slice. They were going to make a rotation, and they bailed out. They didn't make rotations at his shin, but it looks like they were going to. So very interesting that they were going to do that. And I'm loving these boots. Unfortunately, they have no soles in the bottom. I do like having soles whenever I can. And here is his vest. He is wearing a hoodie with the Rogues leather vest over it. Folks, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for watching. Somewhere out on that horizon, out beyond the neon lights, I know there must be something better, but there's nowhere else in sight. It's survival in the city, when you live from day to day. City streets don't have much pity.